Pepsi. And today we're gonna drink Pepsi before we start talking about some of the most important things in gaming that I know of. Let's drink. And I'm ready to get started. Today we're gonna talk about Squaresoft. Yes, not Square Enix. We're gonna talk about the time when Square conquered the world with superb games, excellent, fucking great new ideas, new IPs, a series that kicked so much fucking ass, or should I say kicked so much fucking ass in the past that it was fucking mind-blowing. And I'm gonna talk about why I think their games kicked ass back then and why they're a bit all over the place today, alright? So let's talk about Square Enix. I don't hate Square Enix nearly as much as most of you do, alright? I actually enjoyed the 13 games. The 13 games to me are quite good. Final Fantasy 13-1, I thought the story was nice. Some characters were awful, like Hope. He was kind of a shit in the first game, but as he grew up in 13-2 and Lightning Returns, I enjoyed him quite a bit. But let's face it, these three games are a little bit all over the place, alright? They don't match each other really well in terms of gameplay, continuation feeling, all that shit. Some of the ideas in Lightning Returns were great and unique, but it doesn't make sense comparison to like Final Fantasy 13, but I still enjoyed that trilogy quite a bit. I played all of them, I got a platinum on all those games, so I enjoyed them. But let's face it, it's no fucking Squaresoft time. Sakaguchi, Hironobu Sakaguchi, I think he was the mastermind behind their past excellence. The guy who started Final Fantasy, the guy who made some of the best ideas in the series. So let's go back to look at Final Fantasy. I don't like Final Fantasy 1 and 2. To be honest, if I was around when Final Fantasy 1 was released, I wouldn't really enjoy it too much. I think that game is quite a disaster. Like if I play through the original on the Nintendo system, the Famicom, so when I get to a battle, it's so fucking unfair. Nothing works in that game to me, and it doesn't have a good story, anything like what I want in my Final Fantasy. So I don't like those two games. But when I played Final Fantasy 3 and up, I started to see the potential of this fucking series. I mean, they introduced the job system. I could be a fucking ninja, all that shit. Oh, I loved it. I played the shit out of that game, and I won't deny it. I played it on an emulator because I was piss poor, man. I couldn't buy games. I needed my kick, so I went to the PC and I downloaded an emulator and I played a lot of games that way. And I tried to make up for it today by buying the original games like the Final Fantasy 3 remake on DS. I'm not a big guy when it comes to remakes, but I support some games, alright? So, let's look at Squaresoft, the glory period of the company. Say, Hironobu Sakaguchi at the helm. What games did we get during this time? We got so many classics, it's fucking mind-blowing. In that time, JRPGs were the biggest thing of fucking all time. They were the conquerors of games. Action games and the likes, they took a backseat for superb games like Final Fantasy 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, holy shit, those 6 came after each other. Pure fucking quality, man. You may pick a favorite among these, of course. Some will pick Final Fantasy 4, some will pick Final Fantasy 9, some will pick Final Fantasy 7, most will pick Final Fantasy 7, a few will pick Final Fantasy 8. And to be honest, my favorites in the series are Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 7, 8 and 9. Those are the 4 games I put on top. After that, it's debatable, maybe Final Fantasy 6. But let's look at the other games. Vagrant Story, holy shit. Final Fantasy Tactics, they're both kind of in the same universe in Ivalice. I mean, the music in these games, the way, the energy the games had, the uniqueness, the complete whole soul vibe of every fucking release in the RPG genre at that time. It was fucking amazing. I played all these games, many of them multiple times. Let me tell you, the music, the stories, the gameplay, everything was so well put together. It felt like one unity. And let's not forget Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. I mean, Chrono Trigger, oh my fucking god, one of my favorite games of all fucking time. Great battle system, unique moves, great character interaction. It's a silent protagonist, I know, but I still dig it. Great time travel story, unique fucking touches. The music by Yasunori Mitsuda, mind-blowing, I still listen to it to this day. Huge inspiration. And Nobuo composed for all the Final Fantasy titles. I mean, fuck man, it's insane. And then we look at the games today. What happened? Sakaguchi left. That's what fucking happened. What did Sakaguchi do? Yeah, he went and made Lost Odyssey. One of my favorite games of the last gen. Holy fucking shit, man. And then he made Last Story. I mean, fuck. Great game. It has the same unity that the past games had, that today we don't get. Look at the Final Fantasy 13 games. Many will think the music is superb. I think the music is average. But let's say you think the music is superb in those games. Let's say you think the story is nice. It still lacks the unity. Oh, the mighty unity. We want our unity. It feels like a bunch of teams scattered to do this job. You do that job, you do that job. I know that's pretty normal, but still they don't work well together. It's like they're all over the place. And what do we have left from the Square era? Nomura! That's one of the key guys that we still have, that we still can look forward to see what his mind comes up with. He made the Kingdom Hearts series. I don't like Kingdom Hearts. It doesn't have anything to do with the quality he did, alright? It's mostly about, I don't like Disney fucking up in fantasy universes. And then I see Sid from Final Fantasy 7 standing behind a fucking counter, selling fucking items. Fuck that. I don't like it. But still, Final Fantasy 15. One of the most promising Final Fantasy games in a fucking long time. Nomura, he was the key mind to that game. If that game kicks ass, we can only rely on Nomura. But what happens the day he leaves or the day he retires? Square Enix will have nothing left. The great guys will be gone, my friends. And the Super Nintendo era, the PlayStation 1 era, with Squaresoft, my favorite fucking game period of all time, man. Those games, Secret of Mana, have you played Secret of Mana? And Seiken Densetsu 3? Secret of Mana 2? Holy shit, I played those games multiple times. I played them and played them. Kikuta, have you heard about him? Kikuta, one of the fucking greatest video game composers of all fucking time. Where Kikuta, you have Hitoshi Sakimoto for Final Fantasy Tactics and Vagrant Story. You have Nobuo Uematsu for Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy games. You have Yasunori Mitsuda, like I said, for Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross. Greatest music of fucking all time. Some of the best soundtracks and best albums ever fucking made, alright? We got nothing of that today. Today we got superb action games. We got great open world games. We got fucking amazing games coming out. The Western RPG genre has bloomed into fucking amazing shit. Like Dragon Age Inquisition, my favorite Western RPG of all time right now, right? It doesn't have the qualities that I love with JRPGs. JRPGs will forever rule the fucking world to me. And I'm always looking forward to the next release, like Star Ocean 5, Final Fantasy 15, the next Atelier game. Atelier is a little lower on the list, but still, I love them, alright? I love them. So that's what I had to say today. We need to get back to the roots. We need more Sakaguchi people. We need some new fucking talent with the same mind as Sakaguchi. Sakaguchi-san, you ruler, alright? I mean, fuck man. He kicked ass. He came up with the whole concept of Final Fantasy 7. One of the most loved games of all time. And my second favorite game of all time. My fucking ultimate game of all time is also a Squaresoft game. Xenogears. Oh my god, amazing game, man. If you haven't played Xenogears, you gotta play Xenogears today. Buy it. If you can't get a physical copy, buy it off the fucking PSN. A digital version, what fucking ever you need to play that game. The best game of all fucking time. Squaresoft game. Of course it is. Always Squaresoft games. Always Squaresoft games. So, I see you later, my friends. My rant is over. We want Square! We want Squaresoft! We want Squaresoft back! My biggest hope is a new Sakaguchi game. But he's sitting around making fucking mobile games. He lost his fucking mind, that man. See you later, boys.